Do you have a cause you are passionate about? Perhaps it's animals or finding a cure for cancer. Maybe it's the arts, your church, or this university. If so, you might consider a career in public relations with an organization that supports that cause or interest. Your role might involve fundraising, increasing awareness to change behavior, or fighting for favorable legislation to be passed in Congress. In this presentation, we will discuss the various types of nonprofit, health, and education organizations and examine the role of public relations within these industries. First, we will start with a general overview of the role of public relations in nonprofit, health, and education organizations. Additionally, we will examine the need for fundraising and various methods of fundraising. We will then look at membership organizations, including professional associations, trade associations, labor unions, and chambers of Congress. We will then discuss advocacy groups, followed by social service organizations. Finally, we will discuss health and educational organizations. There are approximately 2 million nonprofit organizations in the U.S. This includes membership and service organizations, educational institutions, hospitals, historical societies, art museums, and foundations. These nonprofit organizations serve the public interest through their beneficial work in society. A tax exemption is issued in recognition of this beneficial work to help offset the challenges of trying to raise money. Because there are no investors or shareholders, PR professionals create communication campaigns to compete with other nonprofits to recruit volunteers and raise money to sustain operations. Public relations tactics such as special events, brochures, radio and television PSAs, and websites are implemented to gain members and raise funds. Sometimes mutually beneficial partnerships are formed to create stronger fundraising campaigns, but competition for funding is more common. Because organizational operations are supported through volunteers and donations, fundraising is an essential task for public relations professionals. These practitioners can either organize and implement fundraising programs themselves, consult with a designated department, or serve as a liaison when a firm is utilized. Although donations from corporations and foundations get covered in the press, individual donations make up approximately 75% of contributions. These individual contributions surge after a natural disaster is covered extensively in the media. A good example of this is the 2010 earthquake in Haiti. Donations can be fueled by a desire to share wealth or ego satisfaction. However, inherent generosity is a primary factor. To maintain credibility, a large percentage of donations should go directly to the cause instead of administrative functions. The Red Cross was criticized after Hurricane Katrina for putting donations in a general fund instead of giving them directly to Katrina victims. Here are some of the various methods utilized by public relations professionals for raising funds. Corporate donations can be sought through the corporate office or through local sales outlets. Some companies encourage employees to donate by matching the employee's donation amount. Foundations typically have a main office with application forms. Structured capital campaigns are used for a large addition to an organization, such as a new building. Since this requires substantial monetary contributions from corporations and individuals, professional fundraising firms are often hired. The availability of technology has led to the decline in the use of direct mail, but attractive and persuasive pieces can still motivate donations. Generally, a letter, brochure, and a reply card with prepaid postage are included in an envelope and sent to recipients. One of the most popular methods of fundraising is sponsoring events such as contests, walkathons, parties, concerts, exhibitions, and galas. Events that require ticket sales generate money. However, because of the expenses involved, parties generally create more awareness than profits. Telephone solicitations are inexpensive, but not always effective because people don't like being bothered. Robocalls or automated calls are particularly inexpensive and used by political candidates to reach constituents. People can avoid these calls by being put on the National Do Not Call registry, which prevents fundraisers from randomly calling. Using the internet and social media is also a cost-effective way to reach a great number of people. However, many people are skeptical of online solicitations, so organizations that are highly trusted tend to be more successful. Blogs, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are all great ways to get the public engaged with a cause. Professional associations are organizations in which members have common business interests or professions. These organizations establish standards of professional performance, ethics, and requirements for admission into a field. Additionally, they encourage and offer opportunities for continuing education. Offices representing these organizations are often located in Washington, D.C. and state capitals to aid in lobbying efforts. Some examples include the Public Relations Society of America, the National Association of Professional Organizers, and the American Medical Association. Unlike professional associations, trade associations are designed for manufacturers, retailers, and distributors. In contrast to members of professional associations who are individuals, members of trade associations are organizations. Trade association offices are often based in D.C., so executives can have easy access to Congress. These organizations participate in lobbying legislation, communicating issues back to members, and interacting with government officials. Two examples of trade associations are the Electronic Industries Alliance and the American Beverage Association. The American Beverage Association lobbies against issues such as increased taxes on soft drinks because it would have a negative impact on the beverage industry overall. The organization also implemented a podcast to educate members on various topics related to the industry. Similar to trade associations, labor unions represent the entire industry. However, trade associations focus on management, while labor unions are focused on the interest of employees. These unions may negotiate with upper management for better working conditions, higher wages, safety regulations, and better benefits. Recently, fast food workers have started the Fight for 15 campaign to try and raise pay to $15 an hour. When an agreement is not reached, sometimes members of the union go on strike. Verizon wireless workers went on strike, but were later faced with the decision of going back to work or losing health benefits. A Chamber of Commerce is an association of business professionals that serves to enhance local business growth. State chambers speak on behalf of the business interests of the city in order to improve the city's commercial climate and to publicize the city's attractions. At the national level, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is the most powerful lobbying organization. Advocacy groups promote their stance on social issues by lobbying, demonstrations, boycotts, public education, and fundraising. Greenpeace and PETA are activist groups known for their confrontational tactics, such as raiding animal labs and throwing red paint on people wearing fur coats. Social issue organizations usually have more broadly defined social and behavioral goals. They use less confrontational tactics to promote their causes, but are highly visible and politically active. As part of the 2012 Mothers Against Drunk Driving National Conference, the group gathered on Capitol Hill to encourage Congress to take legislative action on highway safety programs. Social service groups are aimed at the betterment of society and offer both service and advocacy. These organizations include philanthropic, cultural, and religious groups. Philanthropic foundations are established through a large sum of money provided by a wealthy individual, family, group, organization, or corporation. The capital is invested and earnings are distributed as grants. Many philanthropic organizations distribute funds for research, education, public performances, and displays. These organizations also use fundraising to support the organization's efforts. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is the largest philanthropic foundation in the world. Cultural organizations are responsible for promoting an interest in music and other arts. These organizations cannot rely solely on government funding, so they seek donations through fundraising campaigns. Many have in-house departments to handle these tasks, but some, such as the Getty Museum, hire outside agencies for assistance. Religious organizations offer charity, guidance, moral and ethical leadership, and social centers for the community. Public relations tasks aid in obtaining operational funds and promoting the services available. PR professionals should look for unusual and appealing personal stories to provide to the news media. Additionally, events can be created to raise public awareness. To encourage use of the organization's services, material design should discuss the ease of participation and privacy. Also, it is beneficial to keep interested parties informed through newsletters distributed online. The two types of health organizations include hospitals and health agencies. Hospitals can be nonprofit organizations or for-profit businesses. In either case, hospitals must consider their various publics, which include patients and their families, doctors and staff, the news media, and the general community. Public relations is essential in the overall communication function in a hospital. Public affairs specialists are needed to navigate government regulations, and consumer relations specialists are tasked with ensuring patient satisfaction and the recruitment of new patients. Health agencies convey health, prevention, and emergency response information to the general public. The Department of Health and Human Services provides more than 300 programs and is the largest agency. Public relations professionals working in health communication need to understand technical aspects of public health administration in order to effectively handle potential crisis situations. Health campaigns implemented by these organizations are aimed at preventing and responding to diseases, promoting health, and increasing access to information sources. Some examples include campaigns to bring awareness about breast cancer, risky drinking, and heart attack symptoms. Consider the Ebola outbreak during 2014. The CDC and other organizations had important information to share on how to avoid contracting Ebola and what to do if you think you have it. They had to consider the best ways to get this information to the people while considering issues such as cultural differences, language, and literacy. Educational organizations also deal with a number of publics, including students, faculty and staff, alumni, donors, the community, government, and prospective students. Public relations practitioners can use newsletters, magazines, social media, and tours. A primary goal is to generate funding from private sources and build alumni loyalty. However, PR also serves to enhance the prestige of the university by managing news services, distributing publications, and creating special events. In this presentation, we reviewed the role of public relations in nonprofit, health, and educational organizations. Additionally, we discussed fundraising and defined membership organizations including professional associations, trade associations, labor unions, and chambers of commerce. We then discussed advocacy groups and social service, health, and educational organizations.